Okay, everyone, once again, I want to specially welcome you to this special class, special edition because we are doing it on a Saturday. Right. Today we are looking at general topics in QC. What do we mean by general topics? General topics are those topics that are reserved for another time. You will remember or you will recall whenever we're in class and I'm explaining some things. At some junction, I will say, okay, don't worry. I will explain this to you later in another special or different class. So this is that different class where I'm going to explain the things that we have reserved to you. Meanwhile, before then, let me quickly pass this information to you that today I will also be introducing you to your class project. This is not assignment, it is project. For the distribution of at the assignment sorry, let's say assignment again. For distribution of the project group, that will be handled by Steve. You're not going to do the assignment individually. You are going to belong to different groups. So the modality for the groups and every other thing will be handled by Steve. The parts of it that I'm going to handle are two. The first part is tonight, where I'm going to introduce you to the project and give you a few nuggets on the things you are expected to do. The second part of it will be after you must have done the project and you want to come and present it to the class for us to see what you have done. Those are the two parts I'm going to play in the project. Distributing you into groups and every other things will be handled by Steve. Okay, so I think I should do more information on that when we get to the project part. So let us start our general topics. In case you lose the audio at any time and you did not see me write anything on the screen, please just log out and re-log in again. It means that the issue is actually from your end, or it could be connection issue. Okay, all right. So the first thing we are going to look at, we'll find it on the test plan module. What we want to look at is live analysis. Remember when I was taking this class on Monday, I was talking about Barcelona playing football match against somebody, and you just enter the room. Immediately you look on your screen, you already know the status of the match. You are going to see how many minutes they've played. You are going to see how many goals each side have scored or not scored. That is like live analysis. Onto your project also, that is what live analysis will do. Let's go to our project and see what we're talking about. See, the moment you click on any folder that contains your jobs, you see that this guy, let me get my marker. You see that this guy will show up here. Live analysis. Let's click on it and see what is happening there. Okay, this one looks like nothing is happening. I will tell you why. We'll go to the one that something is happening, and I will tell you why this one. I can easily tell you now because we didn't do anything under this folder. Can you see? We didn't do anything, so that's why it's giving us the graph of nothing. It's like two teams are playing football. None of them are scored. You will still see your scoreboard, isn't it? But your scoreboard will have 0-0. That is what's happening here. Let's go to Yahoo Mail, for instance. There you go. Can you see live analysis now? Now we can now analyze this analysis. But at least you have seen live analysis. This is what it looks like. What does this mean? Look at this. This is number of tests against the person or the tester that designed the test cases. So from this graph now, you can easily see that we have designed 11 test cases in all. This is number of tests, right? And we have 11. We have designed 11 test cases. What are these 11 test cases? What has happened to them? How many failed? 1. See, you see red here. Can you see red here for failed? What number? 1 has failed. Then from 10 to 10, how many has passed? from 1 to 10. How many has passed? 9. Sorry, no wrong. This is no wrong. Yellow is no wrong. So this place to this place is 9. No wrong. Look at the green, passed. How many tests passed? 1. Let us go and confirm if this guy is telling us the truth or if he's lying to us. If you open this folder, under check mail, how many test cases? 1. Please, can you start counting? 1. Create user, nothing. Login, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Which folder am I not using now? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I didn't close the other folder. Plus 3, 10, plus 1, 11. Can you see how we get 11? We have designed 11 test cases under Yahoo Mail, and this is the status of the 11 test cases. I did not draw this graph by myself. It is automatic with QC. Okay, because we are having the same thing on the 2 pages, I can just close one. We can close one since they are the same. Alternatively, what you can do, like we have closed one now, the other window is empty. You can decide to plot another type of graph. Now this one is graph of number of tests against the tester. You can do another type of graph, so you have like 2 different analyses depending on what you want. Let's try it. For example, you click on add graph, click on summary, go next. The one we treated is execution status. This one we just treated is graph of execution status. Graph of what do you want to plot now? If you want to plot a graph of something else, you can open this place and say, I want to plot the graph of, let me see the test that's review and not reviewed. Okay. Reviewed. Okay, let's do status. Next. Against what? Status. Against what? Basically, what we are trying to say is that your destiny is in your hands, depending on what you want to see on your analysis. What you want to see freely on your analysis, the moment you come here, what you want to see, you are the one that will decide. Look at this one now. We are plotting the graph of number of tests against the test name. So you can see your test cases here. Of course, this is not normal. Okay, let me not say it's not normal. This is not realistic. Imagine you have 200 test cases. You can't plot the graph that will show you the whole 200 test cases. But the point I'm trying to make to you is that you can decide what you want to see on your live analysis. The part of your test that you want to see on live analysis, you can decide it. Do we understand this? Guys, this is straightforward and it's very simple. You can see we didn't do anything serious. This one was there by default and we have it in 2 places. So we said instead of having duplicate, let's remove one and plot another type of graph. So you can analyze 2 different situations at the same time. That's what we did. Is there anyone that doesn't understand this? It's not a long class, so I want us to do it as quickly as we can, then we can go to our project. But that doesn't mean that we are going to miss out on anything. Is there anybody, guys, you are not used to my response system yet? My response system is there must be an answer, whatever the type of question I ask. If I say, is there anybody that doesn't understand, and you understand, just tell me I understand. Because if I'm not getting a response, it might mean that you are not even hearing me again. It might mean that you are not even following again. So when I ask, do you understand? You say, I'm fine. It's okay. Yes. If you don't understand, let us know, then we can. You remember we normally do it. It's always an interactive class. So that is that about your live analysis. You will agree with me that it makes sense now. that we dedicated a special time to explain this instead of just quickly adding into the normal class we took and walk away from it. All right. I hope you agree with me. So the next one we are going to look at is coverage analysis. Coverage analysis. Okay. For the person that said I should explain again, for the full explanation, you will see it in the video, but I will do a very short recap. The graph you are seeing is live analysis. Live analysis is what is the present status of my test without you having to come inside your folder and start checking your test cases and their conditions. Just by clicking on it and come to this live analysis, you can see the summary, not all the details. You can see the summary of what is happening to your test. And from what you can see here, we have deduced that we have 11 test cases in this folder. Out of the 11, 1 has failed, 9 has not been executed, and 1 has passed. It's as simple as that. If you open this folder and scrutinize, at the end of the day, the summary of what you are going to get is that this is what Alex has done. I hope you understand that. And we said that you can even draw your own graph depending on what you want. By the time you watch the video, you can build on that, and I bet you that you understand. So the next one we are looking at is coverage analysis. Like you cover something, coverage, coverage analysis. That is the next thing. Coverage analysis. Okay, when do you use this and what do you use it for? It is actually simple. Let me give you the concept before I go into the explanation. When you come to requirement, remember the first thing we did was to create our project in the requirement module, and we created the requirements that are required of us according to the functional spec, even though we just imagine the functional spec from our head, but we are assuming that we have the functional spec in our hands. So we have extracted our requirement. But this requirement, they are just on their own. What I mean by being on their own is that they are in QC, fine. But the moment you go out of this place, that is the end of this requirement, because you have not linked them to any test case or test cases or any test. So linking them to your test is what is called the coverage. When you say, have you covered your test cases or have you covered your requirement? This is what is meant by coverage. What am I trying to explain? This is Yahoo February 2019 set, Yahoo Mail, isn't it? We have to manually, this time will not do this for us this time. We have to cover this test to the test case in the test plan, so that at any point in time when we are dealing with this test, the test will be making reference to the guys here where you have linked it. I don't know if this makes sense to you. Remember your defect module, where we say when you are running a test and you log a defect right from there, automatically QC will log that defect to that test case by itself, because it knows, the QC knows where the defect is coming from. But for this one, there is no automatic linkage of anything. You also remember that test plan and test lab, there's a linkage between them. If you open your test lab, a small window will come here where you can see all your test cases. Then you can start linking them to your test lab under your test set. That's also linkage. So it's a similar linkage that we are talking about now, that we are saying coverage analysis. Okay. So if you want to cover your test, what you're going to do is you come to your requirement module like this. Then you go to view menu and you click on coverage analysis. It is the last option in the list. When you click coverage analysis, it will come to you like this. Now we can see samples. Let me look for sample of tests that have been covered. Look at all these tests. Can you see their, please don't mind the dog, please just ignore the dog. Can you see the status? Not covered, not covered, not covered, not covered. so that you don't start looking what is covered, what is not covered. It means these guys have not been linked to any test. That's why it is not covered. All right. Let me see if I can get sample of an old job here that was covered, so you can see what I mean. Stella, the dog will not go away. The dog is actually in the compound. Okay. I think this is covered. Okay. Now you can see this guy, even though it's still not covered. The reason why it is not covered is because there are still some. Okay, let's use this one that have 15 to 21. This guy. The reason why it's showing it's not covered is because it's not fully covered. The coverage has started, but it has not been completed. As long as the coverage has not been completed, the status will still be showing not covered. Okay. Remember when you are. Oh, okay. Prime dog is also backing. Okay, so they are competing with backing. All right. So what this one is saying now, guys, by analysis, this guy is saying 2 test cases has been covered. No, altogether, this is 2, right? This is 1. This is 1. And this is 15. So what do we have? Which means we have 15 plus 4. We have 19 tests. For this guy, there are 19 tests designed for this guy. If you look at the key for the color coding, you can see the status of the test. When the tests were executed in their test plan module, you can see now we are even analyzing what has happened in the test plan module and test lab module. What has happened from there, we are analyzing it from requirements module. Why? Because they were covered. Because they were covered. What you can see here, 2 is red. What is red? Failed. 2 test cases has failed. Yellow, what is yellow? No wrong. It means 1 has not been executed at all. What is this gray color? Not completed. The execution of this test was started but it wasn't completed. Then the 15, what happened to the 15? These 15 were not covered at all. These 15, they were not covered to any test. So what could have happened to this 15? For this 15, it is possible that the tests have been executed and failed. It is possible that they have been executed and not completed. It is possible they have not been executed at all. It is possible that everything is fine, but you will not know because it is not covered. That's why it's white. It's not covered, so you can't even see the status. Guys, to me this is making sense. I don't know if it's making sense to you. This 15, you can't even predict what has happened. You can't even predict. You can't predict what has happened to this 15. You can't predict because they were not covered. So whatever is happening to them in other places, you cannot see it because they don't know anybody as they had on their own. But these guys, they know some people. The people they knew are the people here whom they have been linked to. Guys, I don't know if you understand this explanation now before I teach you how to do your coverage. Somebody doesn't understand. To cover a test, it means that you are linking the test cases that have been designed. You are linking them to the requirement that they emanate from. The test cases that you have designed in the test plan, where do they come from? How is the 15 linked to access authorization? It is not linked. That is exactly what I am saying. It is not linked. Look at this. Anywhere you see white color, what does it mean? It is not cover. Not cover means it's not linked. So these 15 test cases were never linked. So because they were not linked, we cannot really see the summary of what has happened to them in the test plan module. This 15th is possible that they've executed and passed. It's possible that they failed. It is possible that they share this different status, but we cannot see because they were not covered. They were not covered. Can you see? Their case is even different totally. They were not covered. The ones that are covered, you can see the one that was not wrong, the one that failed, the one that is not completed. If there's anyone that passed, which we don't have on the screen right now, but this one is not even covered at all. The case of this guy is totally different. Totally different. It's not covered. You are in school. Somebody have scored A. Somebody have scored C. Somebody say have scored D. Somebody have scored D. But there's somebody that did not do exam at all. You can see that they are not in the same category. Whether this person pass on A or on C or on D. Okay, let's say this person doesn't have results. Blue dot, not applicable. If the test case, maybe after you design the test case and it's time to execute the test case, we find that the test case is not valid. Instead of deleting the test case, we will set it to not applicable. You can see NA. We will set it's a status also. We will set it to not applicable. So don't just go around just deleting for deleting sake. If the test case is not okay, so you do not applicable. Guys, do you understand? Before you ask question, follow what I'm explaining first and understand before. I need you to understand this first before I can show you different types. I think I've been with you on this course now for some days. By now we should know ourselves. That's a good question. That's the type of question I want to see. How do we cover? I'm going to teach you how to cover. When you have understood what it means to cover, I will now teach you how to cover. Okay? Any test you see here, somebody is asking, doesn't mean that they were not there in the requirement. Any test you see here, they are referring to tests from this place under this project, but they were not covered. They were not covered. They were not linked. Okay, let me give you an example now of coverage. Hold on, let's look at our own project. So imagine create user functionality being tested on Yahoo Sports. Are they the same thing? Login function. Okay, login functionality. Do you need to log in to read Yahoo Sport news? No. So imagine that QC is picking Yahoo Sports for login. So that is why you have to do the linkage. You have to say this requirement, these are the test cases that goes with this requirement. That is why you are linking. I really don't know where to explain this linkage. God help me. Is there still anybody that doesn't understand linkage? I don't expect you to know how to do it yet because I've not taught you. But the concept of linkage is what I'm explaining. I don't expect you to know how to link now because I have not taught you this how to go about it. But I'm explaining what this linkage means. Is there anybody that doesn't understand? Guys, I need response. Okay, that is fine. Please don't be shy. I don't have problem with you when you don't understand. I have problem when you are dragging, especially asking questions that are not part of the class. Okay, I see somebody that say I don't understand. I will refer you to video, but let me quickly do another 2-minute summary. Under the coverage analysis that we are checking, the things we are seeing here are the requirement that has been linked to our test in the test plan module. Remember, after we created our requirement here, we went to the test plan module to create the same thing again. We created all these guys again so that we can put our test cases for each of them where they belong, if you remember. So we are saying those tests in test plan, they need to be linked to their requirements in the requirement module. so that each of them will know that this is my parent. This is where I'm drawing resources from. And explain that even if you link your test, even from the requirement module, you can also see something that is similar to live analysis of your test. If you link them, like this guy, 3 tests were covered and they were executed. The 3 of them failed. The remaining 7 were not covered at all, so we don't know what even happened to them, whether they failed, passed, or what, we don't know, because they were not covered. Let me look for one that we have different types of coverage and colors. Guys, I don't expect you to spend so much time on this. I expect you to spend more time on when I'm explaining. Okay. Which one do we look for here? Okay. Look at this guy. Reservation management. We have 2 tests under it. It means that these 2 tests have been linked. Can you see a link? Now let's try to see. I think this guy will help us better. If I click on this guy now, can you see? Let me get my marker. Only 1 test, and that 1 test was passed. If you want to see the coverage, show test coverage. So it's telling us that for this particular view reservation, 3 test cases were there. 1 passed, 2 of them were no run. If you click on it, it will bring you to where the tests are. Okay, don't worry, let me not do this one, will confuse you. When I get to how to do the coverage by yourself, you understand this part better. Let me not travel. We do how to test, how to do the coverage. When I teach you how to do the coverage, you will understand that part I was going to now. I need you to understand this one before I go to the next one. So this is more like you are linking your requirements to the test cases you have designed for them. You are saying for application usability, task simplicity under it, these are the test cases that I've designed for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 test cases I've designed for you. And this is what is happening to those test cases. Okay? Please watch the video. By the time you watch the video, you understand better. Or by the time we are doing our test coverage by ourselves. So how do you cover your test? You can see why we specialize this type of courses. Imagine that we have treated this topic when we are doing the general class. We'll probably spend the whole day on it and not be able to do any other thing. So if you want to cover your test, you go to test plan module. That's where you have your test cases, isn't it? Go to test plan module. You select the desired test case. Let us say, for example, this test case under check email. Under check mail, this test case is the one you want to link. Okay, once you click on the test case, come to this place, requirement coverage, which means you want to link this guy to his correspondent requirement in the requirement module. I think I should have even done this better to save our time. I think this one will explain it better. This test case, you want to link it to its requirement, its corresponding requirement, the requirement module. So after selecting the test case, you come here and click on requirement coverage. So I'm going to click it now, requirement coverage. When you click it, you're going to have this window. From this place, what do? You click on select requirements. You want to select the requirement that you want to link to that guy. Select requirement. Guys, I hope you can see what I'm pointing to. This is select requirement. Where's my marker? This is select requirement. So you click on select requirement. Where's my marker now? Select requirement. When you click it, just watch what's going to happen. I don't know why this guy is not responding to me. This now. Oh, okay, finally. You know why QCC did. Once you click it like this, can you see now? Remember, we had similar thing in the test lab module. Once you click this guy, it's going to bring all the item in the requirement module. It will bring them for you as a shortcut, so you don't need to be shuttling between these guys. You can do what you want to do from here to here. I hope you remember something similar to this in test lab module when we are doing our test set. So you go and look for your particular test case. This is user inbox under check mail. That's Yahoo Mail. Okay, we didn't create for that. Okay, but let us assume that this check mail user inbox is for login by assumption. You click on this login, you click on this arrow to move it in. You remember how we do it, or you drag it in. Either way. You click it, you can use the arrow. I don't know why it's not moving for me. I don't know. My QC might be having issue. Part of it was difficult for me to log in at the beginning. When you have your own, just try it on your own. Okay, when you click on this and you move this or you drag it in, it will come to this place and it will show you, so that you will see. Let me look for one that has already, so that you see what it looks like. This is how to do it, but let me show you one that was successfully done, so you can see what it's going to look like. Guys, you have seen how to do it. Now I want to pick one that is already done, so that I can show you what it looks like. This one is not moving. I don't know why QC is misbehaving. So let me look for flight reservation. Is this one linked? Good. For this flight reservation, these are all requirements that have something to do with flight reservation. Oh, Ibrahim has say, guys, see what I'm just saying now. Ibrahim has tried what I'm just saying to you now, and it worked for him. So it's not that it's not working. It's my QC that's having an issue. Try it on your own. So this one is already an outstanding one. I mean, an existing one. Just want to use it for explanation to you. So what is this thing telling us? This is telling us that for this flight reservation, it's linked to flight ticket. It's linked to secure purchase. It's linked to credit card type. It's linked to credit card number. Let's analyze this by ourselves and see if it makes sense or not. You want to fly to where? You want to go to Tenerife for holiday, okay? And you are trying to book your flight on easyjet.com. Now it's time to pay. You know what you are doing is flight reservation, isn't it? Under flight reservation, will you not deal with flight ticket? Will, where you want to check the flight, the price, and the rest of them. You are still trying to do flight reservation. You are now trying to purchase. There will be a secure purchase where you can purchase, isn't it? You are still doing flight reservation. Credit card type is coming out as an issue, because at some point you need to put your credit card and it will be checked that is accepting it. Credit card number, all these are different items. So what does this mean? This means that a certain test case can have as many requirements as possible depending on the application you are testing. Please don't memorize this. Just get the concept that what you are testing is what will determine what you will have. But the bottom line is that all these guys now, from the requirement module, they have been linked to this guy. It can be one-to-one and it can be one-to-many, depending on the application you are testing, guys. Okay, so what this means is that you can intermove between these guys from anywhere to anywhere. If I want to go and see this guy now where they are in the requirement mode, just for me to click on them, it will take me automatically to the test that was linked to this guy. Let's try the flight ticket. Let me click it. Guys, can you see? Did I click flight ticket here by myself? No. Automatically that guy brought me here because they have been linked. They have been linked that this requirement and this test case, they have something to settle. If you click on flight cost, automatically it will bring you to flight cost because they have been linked. Can you see it? Flight cost. Because they have been linked. It's not magic. It is not magic. See, this linkage is not a special thing. Before you start checking your mind that, okay, what is the essence of this guy? It is not a special thing. It's not a big deal. You are trying to manage the essence of using QC and not using your Excel sheet is for you to be able to manage your job more efficiently. Is that not the essence? You are trying to be able to manage your job more efficiently. And QC is providing that window of opportunity to you. Will you take it or not? This is what we are doing. If you are using Excel sheet now, you first go to test case and say, okay, this test case, where are the steps? You are clicking, you are looking for page. But this guy, by the time you link this to that, link this to that, link that to this, clicking on work and lead you to the next one. You don't need to look for it by yourself. In Excel sheet, you have to look for it by yourself. Oh. You know you have to look. It's just like me coming here and this guy, okay, these are the requirements for this guy. I want to see them. Instead of me having to go to requirements, searching the folder one by one, trying to look for where the requirement has been kept. I don't need to do that. It is just the essence for monitoring and for control and easy access. These are the requirements under this guy. I don't need to go back to requirement module because I want to see encrypted transmission and be looking for it. Where is it? Open the folder one by one. I don't need it. Once I click on encrypted transmission, it will bring me there. It will bring me there. It's just for monitoring and analysis. Okay? It doesn't stop your test from going on. It doesn't stop you from running your test. Okay? But if you don't link them and you run your test, when it's time to do analysis, you'll be doing manual analysis. If it's fine for you, it is not a sin. But it doesn't really pretend or portrays you as a very good professional. Okay? So if the tool is there, why not use it? Why not? So when you get your QC, for those that don't have it, please watch the video, try this thing out by yourself. I'm very sure in the QC that will be installed for you, the chance is very high that you will see one or two projects in there already. You can use those one to be your guide, and the things we have taught in class, you can use them to be your guide to see what we are talking about. Guys, do you understand? Do you understand? I know the question is, what do you need this for? Basically, what you need this for is for monitoring and for easy assessment. That's what you need it for. It doesn't mean that if you don't do this, you will not be able to execute your test. It is not true. You can execute your test without any issue. Okay? So, we are going to the next one. We are going to the next one, which I've already actually talked about, but we are looking at it again. Linked defects. Linked defects are defects that you log to your defect module manually. What do you mean by manually? You find a defect when you are executing a test and you did not log the defect immediately. If you log the defect immediately, you don't need to link any defect. The system will link the defect for you. You remember we did that in class. Or peradventure, I've done this one in better to explain to you, and we have done it too. Is it? I have taught you how to link test case to requirement. Somebody saying I have not taught you. I did it. This is what we did. Remember when I was explaining that this is our project. Where's our project? That person was not following us, obviously. Not apparently this time. We remember when we click on this and this guy came for us. He forgot. And I said you can click and move this arrow. My own is not moving because my QC is having some issue. I remember saying to you that Ibrahim told us that he has done it on his end and it worked. Oh, that's you. Okay. All right. No problem, is no issue. No issue. So I have taught you how to do the linkage. So as I was explaining about the defect module, when you are executing your test and you find a defect, if you log the defect there and then right inside the test execution process, you don't need to link any defect. Automatically QC knows that this is the test case you are running when you encounter this defect. So it's going to link the two of them together by itself, so you don't have to worry about that. But peradventure, somebody still insists that I want to be unique in my own way. Whether the uniqueness is sufficient or not, I want to be unique. I don't want to log my defect when I find it. I want to come back after 3 weeks to log the defect. It's up to you. So, but don't do it. It's not my advice to you. Log your defect when you find it. But somebody that want to do that, when you log a defect on its own like this, you come to defect module and click new defect and you create your defect. That defect is standing on its own, just like you, standing on its own. Before that defect can be traced to any particular test case, that this is the test case that this person was executing when he found this issue, the test case has to be linked to the defect manually. I taught you this on Tuesday, but it's not an issue to try it again. So how do you do that? It is very simple. It's very simple. Go to your test lab module. Any test case for that matter. Let's say this is a test case that we want to link to defect by assumption. Look at this guy here. Once you click on your test case, come and click on this guy. I'll just run it through because we have done it before and even you can do it. So you click on linked defect. You click on this guy. If you know the ID of the defect in your head, you already know the ID of the defect inside the defect module. You can choose by ID and you put the defect of the ID, the ID of the defect. If you know the ID and you click link, it will link it for you. But you don't need to stress yourself if you don't know it, and you don't need to know it. Just come here and choose the second option, which is select. It will open the defect module for you. You can search out your defect. You can search out your defect by yourself. After you select your defect and you click on link, there you go. To be linked. This one is linked now already. Don't know why QC is joking with me today. So this has been linked. Can you see now? It's been linked to defect ID number 18. If you want to go and see the defect, you don't need to go and look for the defect manually. If you click on this 18, it will take you to that defect automatically. So QC has a lot of linkages for easy of access, easy of use. So if I click on this 18 now, can you see automatically it brought us to defect module to show us defect number 18 by itself. Guys, can you see that? Okay. So the topics that I kept aside to bring to you on another day has been brought to you. Now we are going to our project introduction to project. Before going to the introduction to the project proper, Let me give us the rules that are going to guide what we do in the project. This is for the benefit of those that are in class and those that are not in class. In case you are watching the video, this is the instruction on how to go about your project. Like I said earlier, for those that came early and started the class with us, Steve will be the one to share you into project groups, and he's going to give you further instructions on how to go about the modalities for meeting up this and that. I am introducing you to the project and telling you what is expected of you, and I will review you the project at the end of the day. Your project shall be done inside QC, not on Excel sheet. QC project will be done inside QC. Number one. Number two, for each group, there must be somebody that will project or that will present your project to the class on the day of project review. The way you are seeing my screen now, and I'm taking you through places and telling you things, that is the way the person that is presenting for the group will be telling the whole class. You're not telling me, you are telling everybody. That's how you'll be talking to the whole class, showing us around what you have done. Now, this person that will present for the group does not necessarily have to be the group leader. It can be any member of the group. So I always advise people that in your group, don't push all the job on one person. All of you do it together. Okay? All of you should do it together. At the end of the day, I will advise you to mandate like 2 persons from your group that can present for the group. So in case somebody is not around, that person can take charge. It can be any member of the group. On the day of project review, please don't bring the Excel sheet and say, oh, we did our own Excel sheet. We don't do it inside QC. You will not be able to present because the idea is to know if you know how to use QC or not. So the purpose will be defeated if you don't have it inside your QC. That's another thing you need to know. What else do you need to know? What else do you need to know? That should be all about it actually. That should be all about it. All right. So we'll go on a minute break, just 60 seconds. When we come back, I'll be introducing you to your project. And after that, we'll call it a week. So the 60 seconds starts from now. I'll be back. Now that 60 seconds is over, welcome back to class. So this is the project we are going to be working on. This application is SparkChat, even though it's now called JATalk, but forget about the name. The bottom line is what we are doing. Okay, so SparkChat application. A quick walkthrough of this application is that this application works in a similar way to the way your WhatsApp application works. So having the idea of how the application works will help you. This application works in a similar way. In some ways, it is different, but similar. I said it works in a similar way with your WhatsApp application. Everything you are going to need to do are explained in this document. This is the document that will be sent to you if it has not been sent to you. Any place where there is no full understanding, or if some more information are needed to understand properly the requirement, you are permitted to make assumption for the purpose of the project. In the rail industry, you are at work, you have a functional spec or a requirement that is a little bit shady or a little bit dark. All you need to do is during the project walkthrough or review, that is when you will ask questions. Please do not assume on the job. The assumption, this is on record. I am not asking you to go and assume on the job. For the purpose of this project, because there's nobody that will sit you down for 3 hours, 4 hours on 5 different days, reviewing or taking you through these documents page by page. So for that reason, if you make any assumption based on a requirement that is not explicit, it will be acceptable for this project. If it's in the real life, in your place of work, it's for you to ask questions on anything you do not understand. Okay, it's not a shame to ask questions as a tester. In fact, asking questions is part of the things that will stand you out, because it means that you are doing something. All right, our high level requirements will be splash screen, phone number verification, which we also have its own sub requirements under it. If you go again, sometimes I find that to be this thing. If you go again, you will see sign up. The sign up too, we have other sub requirements. Then you have explainer video. So by instance, I just want to give you a head lead, not a head lead. Okay. For instance, you want to do your project. Let me go back to my requirement review. Hold on. Requirement tree, yeah. I want to get our normal view. No, that will not do it. Requirement tree. Once everything is scattered. This can be funny sometimes, you know. Okay, let me refresh. New project. Spark chart. I'm just going to give you a lead. You can write your description. So, where's our spark chart? Spark chart, where are you? Can anybody find our spark chart? What is wrong with this QC this night? Let me try and log out and log in again and see if the guy will respect himself. I don't know what is wrong with it. This guy just trying to mess me up. So this is Spark chart that we just created now. Let's assume that this is your project. You are doing it now. The first thing to do is to do our high level requirements. The first one is splash screen. I will come here. Splash screen. Whatever it is. What's the next one after slash screen? Number 2, phone number verification. Phone number verification. Please don't disappoint me. Please. What's the next one after phone number verification? Sign up. And so on and so forth. Of course, we cannot take all of them. We can't take all of them. Let's stop at these 3. Okay. The first one is splash screen. Let's go back to our splash screen because that is not the end of it. We still have some other requirements. For this one, so there's no other requirement for splash screen. We will leave splash screen like that because there is no sub requirement. Let's go to the second guy, which is phone number verification. User story is telling you what do I expect. I want to verify my phone to ensure that someone else cannot register with my phone. Acceptance criteria, my country code will be displayed. That is a requirement. It is required that country code must be displayed. I will come here. Under what is that? Under phone number verification. I will now create this as a requirement. Let's say country code, for example. So what happened to country code? After writing country code, you can write the description of the test. Because if you say country code, what happened to country code? You can write it. You submit. You go back to the same guy. I can type in my phone with or without the leading 0. So that is like phone number format, isn't it? You can type with 0 or not with 0. So I'll go back to where's our phone number verification. Another requirement under it. Phone format. For example, let's call it that. Until all the requirements that you can deduce under this particular phone number verification, until all of them are entered the under phone number verification, you close it. You go to the next one, which is sign up. You look under it. Do you have any other smaller requirement, which is called child requirement or low level requirement? If you have, you design them under this guy again too. Same way. I'm sure you saw what I did. This is not different from what we did when we were doing our Yahoo Mail. It's not different. Okay? That's why I said just understand this concept. Once you understand it, it doesn't matter the type of application. You will do what you need to do. You know, we did Yahoo. Now we are doing a live application. We do it. You go to a test plan module the same way. You go and create the presence of your project. You do the same thing. Set up your test, create the folders that they need to have. Under this, there will be what? There will be splash screen. Under it, there will be sign up, isn't it? Under it, I think we did login or something. So under splash screen, we said there is nothing. Under sign up, that's where we talk about. We still have another requirement, right? Let's not create test yet. Still a requirement. You can still break them further. Because the reason why we are breaking them further, why I'm creating for like login now, okay, sign up, for like sign up now, I will not create that. What was the first thing they ask? Country code. Country code. I will not create country code as a test. Let me create it as a folder because there will be so many test cases under country code. To make my job more decent, let me put country code in a separate folder. So under country code now, I can now put all my test cases under country code, and there will be country code. I will test, for instance, I will write test case to test that there is presence of country code. I will test that the country code is correct depending on the country I am connecting from. UK, you must have +44. If it's not, then there's an issue. If it's US or Canada, we'll have +1. If you are linking from where now? UAE +91, or is it 97? Yeah, from India +91. You must have this. You want to test that, you can have it. You want to test that the country code is there automatically. It's not what you add or change by yourself. It's picked by the location of your phone. Okay, Nigeria +234. Okay, so that's why, guys, testing has started. This is similar to what I taught you in Yahoo Mail. So go and work. This document will come to you. I don't know if it's going to be today or tomorrow. Steve will send the document to you, or WJ. So user story will guide you on what you need to do. Then this guy will break it further for you to know the things to look for. Sometimes the things you will test for might be beyond what you have here. Please don't just limit yourself. You are testing an application that you know the way it works. This one are just like a pointer. They are like introduction. They are like giving you nuggets on the things that are compulsory. There are some of them that you are going to put there by yourself based on standard of what is supposed to be applicable. For example, thank you very much, Akinkumi. Objectives. For example, so you are testing password, and they tell you that the password the user will need to enter a valid password to log in. Are you going to just test that, verify that user can log in with this password? Even when they don't mention it, you know that you will check that wrong password will not go. You know by yourself that you will check that blank password will not go. You know by yourself that you need to test for other things, that this guy is just a pointer. So you can see that testing cannot be crammed. You need to understand it. In some cases, you need to break that singular thing they give you. You have to break it all. Or is it breakdown now? In some cases, you pick it the way it is, you use it, and you go home, depending on the case before you. Please, guys, you are like a judge. You are a judge now. They brought a civil matter, maybe a marriage or divorce issue. They brought it to you. Are you going to use the same criteria to judge a criminal case where somebody has defrauded somebody? No. What you are going to judge will depend on the case that is in front of you. The relevant law that you are going to consult to base your decision on is going to be dependent on the case that is presented before you. You are the judge. Judge is judge any day, anytime. So you are a tester any day, anytime. Applications are like cases before judge. Cases will be different all the time. In fact, there are some cases that their subject is the same, but in the real sense, they are different. There may be a marriage case where what they're asking for is divorce. Another marriage case, what they're asking for is settlement. Another marriage case, what they're fighting for is child custody. Even though it is marriage or marriage issue, are they all the same? So you need to look at each of them on its own merit and know how to judge the case. That is the same way testing goes. You can see that you cannot cram testing. You can cram the principle. As in, you can say, okay, this will go for this. But in the real sense of testing, you cannot test by cramming that, okay, I know what to test for. They will bring another application that will be different. You need to bring yourself down to the level of the application and test. So that is exactly what I want to see in this project. Okay, guys, in the next 3 minutes, do you have any questions on this project? Please, let us ask questions that will be helpful to us and to everybody. Any question on this project? I have discussed the project with you now. If you have any question on what I have discussed with you, please, this is the time to ask question. because after this, we'll be meeting again on the day of your project review. At that point, it will already be too late to ask that question because you must have finished your work. So any question? Is this our project? Please, class, be the judge. Should I answer this question? Okay. I will not mention the name of the person that said I should not answer the question. So you don't go and look for the person and start beating the person up. Somebody said I should not answer the question, but I will answer. This is your project. This is what I said from the beginning. I said this is the project that is coming to you. You will probably receive it today or any time from today. Steve will send it to you or WJ. By the time you are watching, that person that asked the question, by the time you are watching this video, you will see that I have mentioned this thing like 2 or 3 times before you are asking. By then you will say to yourself, where was I? Anyway, that's the answer to your question. Any other question? Any other question, guys, before we call it a wrap? Any other question, ladies and beautiful? Is it beautiful men now? Okay. Beautiful ladies and gentlemen, this is where we are going to draw the curtain on QC. So, if there's any question, this is the time. Dayo, you are welcome. Thank you very much too for your support, for your time, cooperation, and for your contribution in class. Thank you too. I appreciate. Emmanuel, using it already had a group project. Emmanuel, are you sure you don't have group assignment? If you have group project, then this is what you have. Maybe you have it and you have not checked it out. If you already have it, that means they've sent it to you already and I don't know. I'm very sure by the time you check it after class, you will see that this is what you have. So if they have sent to you, it's all well and good. That means it's even better. So this is your project. William, thank you very much too for your good listening. Good instruction is a function of good listening. So thank you very much. Banji, your project, somebody says already been sent to you. I'm the one that I'm waiting for your lovely project, not the other way around this time. Bella, do we have to download? You don't need to download anything. It's a Word document to be sent to you if it has not been sent already. Somebody said it's been sent to you. If it's not been sent, it will be sent. But Emmanuel said it's been sent already. What else? How many requirements? That is why you have functional case and functional spec. You're asking me how many requirements. That's funny. This app. No. You are testing the app. See, this is the way you are testing the app. As a tester, you don't start your testing job when the application is 100% ready. The moment the developer starts working, you too as a tester, you go to work. The developers rely on this document to develop the application. So as they are developing, you are relying on the same document to prepare down your test materials. I don't know if you get that. So the application is not fine. The application is available in the real sense. This application is a working application. But I'm saying that we don't normally need to send the application to you. So don't bother about the application. Use the document, because in the industry where you are testing, you are probably testing what has not been developed. I mean, you are preparing to test what has not been developed. So while preparing, the application will not be available. Thank you, Olaniran. You've been wonderful too. You make it possible. Ranji, thank you. Okay, guys, I think that's all about question. Every other thing is thank you. And I want to say a big thank you to everybody. Thank you very much, everybody. Somebody is asking, are we going to have different group from the one we had for ISTQB? Like I said, I am not in charge of dividing you into groups. I have said this again also like 10 times. Steve is the one in charge of dividing you. Guys, instruction is very important as a tester. You cannot go meet your test manager every time to ask for a singular thing. The next time, when your contract expires after the first 3 months of testing you, of trying you, they will ask you to go. Okay, I'm not saying it specifically now or authoritatively. But I mean, somebody can ask you to go. The same thing you ask now, 30 minutes you come back, ask the same thing, and then you go testing, and then you come back, you ask the same thing again. The manager will look at you like, is this person really experienced the way he's saying his experience? So we really have to follow instruction. Instruction is also part of our job. Very, very key to our job. Very key. Very key. So again, Steve will be in charge of dividing you into project groups. If he's going to use the same format, I mean the same template as the ISTQB group or not, honestly, I do not know. But I know he's going to divide you to your project groups and he's going to communicate that to you so that you can start working. And every other modalities that you need to have, I can assure you that he's going to discuss everything with you. So is that the last question? Okay, off record. Whether off or non record, this person, I won't mention your name, you will not be able to download QC on your own. I'm not hearing you, but just follow the instruction and the directive that Steve has given you. Trust me, you can. It's not an open source application. It's a special application, very, very expensive. In fact, it's a privilege, very, very big privilege that we are having it to practice and to train. Where when Steve trained, no, okay, how am I gonna put it now? In the early days of testing, where Steve went for his own professional training, it is only theory. They don't have it. They cannot afford to buy it. So there are so many things you are getting in this school that you think is normal. Ask your friend that passed through uh other other school. You can ask them. They will tell you some of them have not seen QC before and they will attend QC class from beginning to the end. The first time they will be seeing QC is on the job or on the day of interview. But thank God for Steve. You have it at your beck and call. You can use it anytime, anyhow. So get in touch with the person he has directed you to meet for the download of the application. When are we meeting again? I'm tempted to say on Judgment Day. It's actually on Judgment Day, on the day of your project review. That will be communicated to you if it is not already communicated to you. So that's when we are meeting again. But if you are offering SQL, we are meeting again on Monday. You are still meeting me on Monday. But on QC, this is the last class until the day of the project. I'm trying to see if there's no other question. Any interview question related to QC? Yes, plenty of them. You can trust Steve to do justice to that, so don't worry. We have been divided already. Oh, that's good. I'm trying to read up if there's any. Okay, there's no more question. Everything is now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So you too, I want to say a big thank you to all of you.
Um, Love, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
So,
Steve is
yeah,
around, guys.
once I'll leave you to finish, then I'll quickly go through the interview session with them for just 10 minutes or so, or
Okay.
thereby. You can continue, you can go on for now.
Okay.
If there are other questions they're asking you, I'm also here now, so I can attend to it as well.
All right, guys. I hope you've heard it straight from Steve. After this class, Steve will be having like 10 minutes with you. Okay, I'm going to answer this question. Somebody's asking me, where did I train? Probably you didn't attend the first class or you have not watched the video. At the beginning of the class, I told you that 9 years ago, I was sitting where you are sitting now, and Steve was sitting where I am sitting now. So what does that tell you? It tells you that I am also part of you. I'm a product of this school. So I wasn't even among the first set of students. Steve had trained like thousands of people already. So I graduated from where you graduated from. And I want to believe that in the next few months and years, you will know this thing more than I know presently. I can assure you that. I can assure you. So I think that is all about the question you asked. Okay, that's all about the question. So guys, I'm going to leave you with Steve now. Please don't go far. I will have to log out so I can get this video.
No. Don't log out, Love.
Okay.
Just tap.
Okay. All right, guys. So I'll be signing off now. Steve will continue talking to you. So guys, I'll see you on project review day. Thank you very much and have a very wonderful weekend. Bye.
Hold on, everybody, please. Just give me 1 second. Thank you. Okay, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the QC lesson with love, and excuse me. I know it's been teaching you with QC 9, and you are getting QC 10. So he must have told you the reason for that is so you can have dual experience, because we don't know whether the company you're going into will use 9 or 10. So you practice with 10, you get taught with 9. So that's a big benefit. This was not planned. I didn't mean to join you today at all, but I just thought we might, not necessarily the interview questions. I think I'm going to leave that now. I've just changed my mind on that. So I'm going to leave that till after when we start the interview session, part of the training. Actually, hold on. Give me 1 second. Let me do something here. So, love, you are going to give me control now. Give me control to share my screen. Let's see. So, QC interview sessions is not like, it's not a biggie really in terms of how many questions you are going to expect from that in interview. Typically, interview questions can be, I will share my screen shortly, guys. Interview questions can be between none, 0, and maybe 15. So the reason why I say 0, you're going to understand that once we, get to the main interview session week, okay, it's part of what I will discuss then. So it could be nothing, it could be 15, it could be 9, it could be 8 interview questions, but whatever it is, if an interview is very complete. When I say complete, that is, they ask you question in, of course, you get question from ISTQB because that's the rudiment of testing. But if they ask you question in QC and SQL as well, don't expect more than 2 questions from this side of the game. So, and you don't want to be left out when they ask you questions that ideally is in our interview questions list. I mean, even for me as a trainer, it gets to me when students call me back and say, "Oh, Steve, they asked me several questions." And I know that those questions were from my interview questions list, and you haven't bothered to practice those questions. So this is part of what we will, you have to prepare for. I mean, I believe you can see my screen now. Can anybody see my screen? Okay, good. So, yeah. So, there are 80 interview questions here. These 80 questions are questions that I put together myself, and the ones, from the interviews I did when I was looking for a job, and from those students that I trained, that have been to interviews. Now, these questions are pretty standard. There's no way, I'm telling you now, it's impossible to be asked any question in quality center in interview and you will not be able to answer the questions if you go through all these 80 interview questions. And by the time you go through these, about 70% of them, you will know the answer before you even, read my own answer. I mean, they might ask you, what is quality center? Yes, we know you've used it. We know you're a tester. They can ask you that. They can ask you what is software testing. Prepare for all these odd interview questions. Remember when I was still a tester in the financial, in the asset, management field, I get questions like, what is a bond? I mean, of course, we test bonds, we test different types of securities, but you'll be surprised when they ask this kind of questions because it's questions that they expect you to know. So if somebody asks what's quality center, you don't have to go into details and cram what I have here. Just explain it based on what you already know. If I'm going to answer that question now, I can answer it in 5 different ways, and they will have the same meaning. Okay? What are the fields of quality center? What are the features? Basic interview questions that you can get. What is quality center projects? Of course, from your site administration, you know that. What database supports quality center? They are all here. In class, we are using SQL, SQL Server. So Oracle is huge. How do you create a project? So all these things are what is the table in QC projects? Remember, for those of you that are taking SQL, you've seen tables, you've seen the way they look. How many built-in tables? So these are questions that by the time you go to them, you know some of them. I'm sure Love has taught you this today, or maybe in the past. QC customization, yeah, user-defined fields so you can define yourself. See, customization. Some of them, they are, for example, win owner is being retired. So you might want to skip all this kind of questions. Whenever I say win owner, it's not, HP has stopped supporting it. So this is pretty, just make sure you go through all these questions so that you don't run into any problem in interviews. I don't normally discuss them at all. But of course, the ISTQB questions, we normally discuss those ones. Okay. So we are going to share this with you with today's video once we send this to you. There's something I also want to do today. There's an impromptu test here, which I would want you to do. Okay, I want you to do an impromptu test. Just hold on for a second. I'm going to put that test up now, and you can ask any questions while this test is up. So I'm going to put QC test. Please tell me whatever you see. What can you see on the screen now? Please don't log out. Make sure you attempt it. Make sure you attempt it. Good. Hold on, guys. Hold on a minute. Yeah, no, guys, hold on. Please don't put your answers in the message to me, because you have to answer it on the thingy. Just tick your answer ABCD. When you submit it, everything will come to me at the end of the day anyway. Please, Akin Kumi, Ayola, don't, and Ozomani, don't put your answers in the chat window. Like I said, just take your answer, and when you finish it, submit. Okay, make sure you submit, because once you are logged out, I cannot see your answer here. The only way I'm going to see your answer is if you submit those answers to me. Sorry, at the end of the, when you get to the last answer, you see the button that will say submit. Just make sure you do that. Okay. Good. So this test, students normally finish this test in 30 minutes, but even some finish it in 10 minutes. That is how simple this can be. But we are going to leave you here. Let me speak to Love very quickly. I will come back to all of you. So when we're going to leave you here to submit the test, then we can sign out. Okay, just give me a second. Okay, class. So Love and I is going to leave you now very briefly. So we'll leave you here to continue to do the test. Don't rush it. You have till 10 o'clock to submit. So by 10 o'clock, I'll come back here. We will come back. If we think, you still need a bit of time, then we'll just leave it on. But honestly, you can finish this in 10 minutes max. All right. So thank you all, and we'll come back to you soon. Enjoy the test. Thank you. Bye.